Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marilyn Shannon, and this is the Breaking Free Show. And I'm so happy to have you all with us today. I feel like we're just going to kick back today, have a fireside chat, and just kind of talk as if we're around the kitchen table, getting to know each other, and just sharing some things. So before we get started with our show, I want to say hi to Annan.
Hello, Marilyn.
How are you?
I'm just fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
It's not as hot today, is it?
No, but oh my God, it has been so
I
hot.
know.
Oh, Amnon.
Oh, well,
It's I
it's July,
It's July. The other day I went out, we have a screened-in porch with a fan, and I it's like my favorite room in the house.
hmm
It overlooks a little pond. I love it, and I love going out there in the early morning or whatever I can and just kinda work. I couldn't even move my screen on my computer,
Wow.
like, up and down. It was so sticky. I had to go in the house. I don't even care about my hair. I care more about the screen. My hair, who cares, right? No, it's been really hot. I mean, really, really hot. So,
It's
it's
okay. It's going to be freezing
I
pretty
know.
soon.
I know.
Going on with say, well, we need some heat.
I know, but it's nice to be in air conditioning, but then it's nice to be out, but it is really hot. So everything else is good, right? You got
Everything
everything's
is
going good?
just fine.
Good. So today we're going to talk about big ideas. They're interesting because people think that they have to be you have this idea and it has to be big for it to happen. No, it doesn't. And I want to talk about this because you're all brilliant. Everybody's got these creative sparks, these hints, these things that go on inside of them like, "Oh wow, wouldn't that be cool?" or, "If I did that, I would do this." And those ideas are golden, but we don't give them enough credit. And I want to talk about it. And a while ago, I read this book that I want to tell you about because it was so inspiring to me about ideas that I want to share it with you. But I do want to tell you that you are more than welcome to call in anytime, ask a question, make a comment, whatever you want. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It doesn't even have to be about what we're talking about. If you've got something on your mind, in your heart, and you want to talk about it, today's the day. A lot of days we have a guest and we kind of have a scheduled theme based on our guests for that particular show. But today, the theme is big ideas. And if you've got anything you want to talk about, you're not interrupting a guest, you're only interrupting me, and I don't care. And I would rather you call in. So 919-518-9773, or you can Skype in with us, and that would be Skype voice. It would not be video, and that would be computers, and that's plural, then the number two, K voice. And you can join us in our chat, and you can just put your name, nickname, whatever you like, enter it into the login area, and you'll come in there, and you can certainly communicate with us in there as well. So just remember that this is an open invitation, and we would love to have you. Feel free, okay? So, Elizabeth Gilbert. Some of you may know her from her book, Eat, Pray, Love. It was a fabulous book. She also wrote a book called Big Magic, and it was about ideas. And she relayed a story, which when I heard that story, I'm like, whoa, it was amazing. So she went to a conference and she met another famous author and they became friends and they started writing each other. They didn't just email, they didn't text, they actually wrote on real paper with real pens, stuck it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and sent it through the mail. She had this idea, Elizabeth Gilbert, to write a book, a fiction about the Amazon. And it was a story of this builder and how, this builder had somebody that worked for him and he wanted to build in the Amazon, so he sent this person to the Amazon to start working on it. Well, life happened for Elizabeth Gilbert, and she started writing the book, but she couldn't get to doing it. So she kind of tucked it away. So she went to this conference, right? And she meets this friend and she leaves. Well, she goes to another conference and she meets this friend again. And this famous author and Elizabeth Gilbert start sharing the projects they're working on. And this friend tells Elizabeth Gilbert that she's working on a project with a book about the Amazon. and a guy who wants to do some building and things down at the Amazon and so forth and so forth and so on. And she is relaying the book that Elizabeth Gilbert wanted to write. She is telling her about that book that she is currently writing. And Elizabeth Gilbert was like in shock. And she realized that her idea, a big idea, got exchanged hands at that first conference when Elizabeth Gilbert kind of tucked her book away. And that's the idea about ideas. Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's the idea about ideas. If it's an idea that's important and wants to come out and play, it's coming out whether it's your idea or somebody else's idea. Have you ever, I know this has happened to me, have you ever sat by the TV and heard somebody relay something to you and you said, oh my God, I thought about that like 10 years ago? Or have you ever read anything and sat back and went, oh my God, that's my idea. How did they steal it from me? That's what happens. Ideas are an entity and they are living, breathing organism, and they want to come out and play. And when it's their time, they're coming out. And so if you have an idea and you cherish that idea and you want it to be yours and you are like honoring it, well, let's get those ideas out. And that's what today is about. And I will tell you, when I had an idea to do a book series and I was kind of toying with it. But when I read that in Elizabeth Gilbert's book about ideas, I loved my idea so much and it felt so right to do it that I didn't want to give it up. And I said, you know what? I'm motivated now. I am motivated to do my idea. Well, 3 books later and 1 coming, I did that idea. Now, I'm just wanting to share it with you because I know some of you are sitting on some big ones and some little ones, and they start little. So we're going to talk about that. Okay. And even here, look at this, right? This was an idea, right? So years ago, was doing a show, a computer show on a radio station. Why don't you tell them instead of me? Tell
No, it's
them this.
fine. Go ahead.
Well, okay. So chime in anytime. So right, go ahead. Tell them the
Yeah,
story.
so we're doing a show on the Buzz, and the station sold, and it started going downhill, and there wasn't enough audience out there, and decided I'm going to build the studio here at home and continue to do it from here so we can cater to the audience that wanted us.
Just your show at the time, right? You
Yeah.
were just gonna do it for
And
your
after
show.
we started doing that and added video, it became obvious that what all this equipment just for one show. And
Right, that's when you and I
yeah,
kinda connected on for a second thing. I mean, we were already connected, but
yeah,
that's when I started doing my show.
right.
And
And that there were more shows and more shows.
right.
Makes sense. It
It
was
it
an idea.
it was an idea. And you didn't know if the idea was gonna
No,
work, but you knew enough to know you had to give it a try, right?
if you don't try what you are thinking, you'll always feel like,
You're always
why
wondering.
didn't I do it?
Like, you're always
What could have
wondering,
been? Yeah,
right? Always wondering. And who knows? I mean, and if you're doing your show on here, how long ago did you build this channel, this station?
that was in
Is it 9 years, 10 years?
2008.
8. So it's 11 years. 11 years. And I think I'm doing mine 8 or 9. And I just had an anniversary. July is my anniversary. I didn't even remember. Okay, so July was my anniversary during the show. Did you know back then when you first started, you were just going to do audio? And
Right.
then once you got started, then it started with a smaller idea.
Mhm.
Once it got started, then Amnon realized when talking to other people that, oh, I could add video. And then he added video. And then he added me. And then he added more lights. And then it's HD. And then it's just all
We just,
grown.
yeah, I mean,
right?
keeps it hopping.
It keeps it hopping. And keeping an idea hopping is for anybody. It's not nobody just plopped something in me that said, "Huh, here's an idea. You're the only one in the world that can have an idea." Uh-uh. And the same thing with Amnon. I mean, there are so many ideas, and I think what's so interesting today is the opportunity we have with ideas. Because with technology, with social media, I mean, with entrepreneurship, you can do anything. I mean, plenty of people are working a job, a day job, and their passion on the weekends, their passion at night. I mean, plenty of people are doing these things. And so there is nothing you cannot try. There is nothing you cannot do. And if one thing doesn't work, well, it's just a stepping stone to another idea. And unless you did that stone, you may not have had that first level of no, this is not exactly what I need to do. It's this or it's that. So, this show is all about it. So if you've got an idea, let's say today is like an incubator of ideas. Call in, share your idea with me, with us. I'm not a genius, but I certainly can value and honor ideas. And if you've got one, let's talk about it. Let's say, okay, how do you go about it? Where do you start? Who do you who do you talk to? Who do you surround yourself with to give you some help? I know that when I have an idea, I all of a sudden go plop. There is somebody in my life who is, like, right there, who can give me help, who could give me advice. I mean, when Amnon did this show did the station, you had people that you were asking advice of, right? And they gave you good advice.
Mhm.
Same thing. You don't realize who you know all until you are ready sometimes, and then you go, "Oh my god, why didn't I just ask them?" So here was an idea that I got, a hunch. I'm working on this series of books. It was suggested that I get an agent. And well, somebody said to me, a true person who's been writing for many, many, many years. And I'm still like swallowing the fact that I'm an author. And she said to me, Marilyn, have you ever thought of getting an agent? And I said, well, hasn't everybody? And she said, well, maybe everybody does think about it, but you've got a really good idea with your books, and I think you should pursue it. She said, but I don't know the quality of your writing. Oh, that made me want to flip because, I didn't know the quality of my writing either. I know that I like to talk, and writing was a struggle. So I gave her a couple of my books, and she came back and told me that my writing was good. And I value her opinion. So I started going on the search for an agent, and one of her suggestions was to look inside of books in the acknowledgement section and see who authors are acknowledging. So, okay, thought that was a good idea. But initially, we started searching for agents on the internet and started sending query letters and got some rejections, and some I haven't even heard from yet. So a couple of weeks ago, I went to Barnes and Noble. There aren't that many actual bookstores around anymore that you can go and like hold a book. So I went and I really struggled in Barnes and Noble to try to find something that was similar to my books. But I found a few things and I looked at them and I tried to figure out who their agent was. Well, one of the salespeople in Barnes and Noble came over and she said, she asked if she could help me. And I said, well, maybe you can. I'm looking for books that are about relationships, stories about people and how they feel about things, their relationships. Could be about abortion, it could be about addiction, it could be about adoption, it could be, specifically about men, anything that somebody's putting together, like chicken soup. So she said, I really don't know of anything. So she got on her little speaker and she asked whoever else was on duty if they knew anything, and the answer was no. So I thought, oh, this is very interesting. So I came back and, whatever. Then I realized, oh my God, Brianna, Brianna, who works with me, who is transcribing my stories, is now working at Barnes and Noble. So I wrote Brianna and asked her to be on the lookout for any new books that come in that might resemble something about my books, some kind of something that she would say, let's look at that. So, when you have an idea, Amnon found friends, found people, acquaintances, associates that he could, ask for help. Sometimes you don't know who that person is offhand, but you have an idea. And then there's something else that comes that you go, oh, that was a good idea because I mean, how many people do you think I know that work at Barnes and Noble? None. And where else am I gonna go to look for books? There aren't that many small bookstores either. So it's like, that's too good not for it to be an idea that has like worth. Okay. So we're gonna get on more about ideas. But again, I want to welcome anyone who would like to call in to please do so. 919-518-9773 or computers 2K voice on Skype. And then you can also come into our chat and talk to me from there. I'll talk to you from anywhere, actually. Okay. So I want to, as we're talking about ideas, this story has impacted me. I saw it on Facebook. I did a little search, so I know it's real. This young man is looking for a family. Some of you might have seen it, maybe not, but it is real. It's from Oklahoma City. He's getting ready to age out of the system and has no family and is looking for one. And I just want to put it out there. I feel really badly for him. I think it'd be great if everybody can have a family, whether it's a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, aunts, uncle, somebody. And I think it's so important. So I want to put it out there. You never know who's watching this show who might say, you know what? Let me see what I can do. So here is something that I can do. So if anybody knows anybody, if anybody's interested, here's this young man's story. You can find it on the internet. Just do a little search and see what you can come up with. And I know Amnon and I were chatting a little bit before. And you said, what did you say about adoption? What did you say about adoption before?
What did I say?
You said something about some people shouldn't be adopted
Well,
by
I
some
mean, there are some
families
people that have been
that are better
adapted, and
alone.
they would have been better
Right.
off
Yeah.
because they were
Yeah.
abused.
Bad situations.
Um,
Absolutely.
where
Absolutely.
is he?
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma.
So yeah, I mean some kids would have been better off in the system
Just the
maybe.
fact that he's going out there and saying that,
He seems like a really sweet kid.
and that's nice.
Yeah, seems like it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I mean, how many people do that? So I give him credit. So anyway, if you know anyone or you know how to help this kid, maybe you can reach out and do something. It takes a village. All right. So let's start with my first slide. So big ideas have small beginnings. They really do. They don't. They're not like all of a sudden Amnon saw the future in his channel, or I saw that I would get to 4 books, or that I would even get an agent. Heck, no. If you think for one little measly second, this person who did not consider themselves a writer saw themselves writing a book, you are mistaken. So you just start with that first idea. You don't have to have dotted every I and crossed every T. You just start with that one idea, and then it can grow from there, but you got to take action. I mean, what's an idea without action? Nothing. So, and I know creative people have a lot of ideas, and it might be hard to distinguish which one to do. So you pick one. You ask a consultant, you ask a friend, but you start somewhere. You take one step, do a little research, see what's going on, and but begin. Okay, next. And they do have small beginnings. Okay. Sometimes it's just that pop. Sometimes it's just you're in the coffee shop and you hear something in yourself and you go, "Whoa, that was a really good idea." All right. Rome wasn't built in a day. It was not. It was not. And if you talk, I guarantee if you talk to some prolific authors, writers, movie people, actors, actresses, I mean, politicians, everybody started somewhere. Sometimes people started canvassing the streets and putting flyers out. I mean, you just start somewhere and you go from there, and you cannot always see into the future. So you don't know where that idea is going to go. You just know you're the right one to honor it. Okay, next one. Big ideas start as weird ideas. They do. A lot of times they do. So what does that mean? So when I had the idea to do the books, it was a weird idea because I couldn't even imagine doing it. Sometimes your weird idea is an invention that has nothing like it has ever been done before. And you're like, oh my God, where did that come from? Sometimes they sound stupid. They sound crazy. They sound like it's going to cost $1 million. All of those things, listen, if those things are going through you and you have thought about these things before, you're not the only one. I could write a book on all the things that a person can say because I've said them, when approaching a new idea. But anything could almost work. One day, I remember opening up a magazine and reading that somebody was delivering milk and cookies in New York City at like in the middle of the night. Well, it sounds like a crazy idea, but I can guarantee you there are people in New York City who are up, who are hungry and thirsty and need a little snack and are willing to call somebody to deliver milk and cookies. I mean, Uber for Pete's sakes, Lyft. Now it's Uber Eats. I mean, there's nothing that you cannot create. The crazier sometimes, the better. So just go with it. Okay, next one. Everything begins with an idea. Everything begins with that first pop of something. There is nothing. You know what? I don't think we always do, and I'm not sure how I'm going to say this. We don't do the same thing twice. I don't care if it's doing the laundry. You don't do it always the same. So even when you don't realize it, there is a spark, there is an idea within you of doing something different. And getting clear really helps you see that and helps you understand that there's more to come. So, just you got to listen. You got to feel through your ears and you got to listen to what you're feeling to really get a handle on it. But nothing, starts without an idea. Okay. No one is what as
You.
you no one is you. That is your power. So, n- so what does that mean? That means that even though you have an idea that you can assume somebody else is doing, somebody else has thought about it, it's old, it's this, it's that. That may be fine and dandy. And it all is true. But nobody is you. Nobody is going to do that idea like you are. It doesn't matter. Nobody will. It doesn't matter how many books there are written about a particular subject. Nobody's going to write it like you. There is nobody that's going to cook something the way you do. Nobody is going to create a piece of technology exactly the way you will. I mean, and you got to think about these things and realize where your power is, and it's in you. Period. It's as simple as that. And everybody is. Everybody is. So nobody plopped something, remember, in me, power or otherwise, that they didn't plop in you. It's just I'm using it and I want you to use it too. That's why we're doing this show. So remember, no one is you. You are powerful. Everybody is powerful. So your idea is powerful, and it doesn't mean that it can't be done because somebody else has already done it. You will do something, say something, show something, share something differently than somebody else. And the other thing is, somebody out in this world is going to find yours when they didn't find somebody else's for whatever reason. I have no idea why, but they will find your book, they will find your message, they will find your post, they will find your technology where somebody else's they did not find. So it's really it's in your power. Okay. Action often precedes the feeling. Action often precedes the feeling. To me, sometimes that means that sometimes you've got to do something before you even feel it. Sometimes you have to be almost like a machine because sometimes our we're scared to do certain things and we hold ourselves tight. And if you know something to be worthy, you go ahead and do it. You don't have to wait to feel the feeling that makes it okay. You just go ahead and you take that first initial step and the feelings will follow. The feelings will follow. You don't have to have it all, right from the beginning. But sure, do what you can do and the feelings will come. Okay. Next one is creativity in life is about saying yes to new ideas. There's plenty of times to say no. Plenty. Try it out first. If you say no, you have no idea what you're capable of. You have no idea what that idea's entity is capable of. And there's a lot of power in an entity. There's a lot of it comes with a I guess I want to say it comes with its baggage. It's good baggage. It comes with its power to be. And if you're the first one that gets that idea, or you're the first one to act on that idea, then that will happen. If somebody else gets it, it will happen for them. But when it's time for that action to happen, for that idea, it's going to happen, whether it's you or it's somebody else. And the part about creativity in life is that we ha- these ideas keep growing and we're being creative with these ideas to see them into fruition, to have them happen, to have them become. And creativity sees yeses. Creativity sees possibilities. Creativity sees that, oh, if it's not this, it could be this. If it doesn't look like this, well, maybe it'll look like this. If it's not this color, maybe it's this color, right? That's how that goes. Creativity is not, no, that won't work. No, that won't work. So say yes and allow the idea to find a home. Allow the idea to feel like it belongs somewhere so that you then can take that idea and put it into action and make it worth something. Okay, dokie. Next one. All right. The future is built on the flow of new ideas. You cannot doubt that for a second. Look around. We're sitting in a sea of ideas and a future. The future belongs in ideas. I don't even know how to say it any other way. I mean, look around. Look around. Everything. The internet. Uh, Something happened yesterday, and I can't remember what it was. My something with technology or something that I was like to one of my kids. I'm like, "Oh, you can do that? It's happening so fast. I can't. You cannot even keep up with whether it's the software, the hardware, you just can't keep up with anything with all of it. Any of it, it's happening so fast. So, what do we and here's the thing. Sometimes you can look at your idea and say, "What do we need? What do we need? What makes this idea powerful? Why do we need this idea? Who is it serving? I mean, what's the purpose?" Is it and I think it's really important to get behind your idea with its purpose, with the solution that it's going to solve, with the problem it's going to solve. Problem solving is really good behind an idea. It's what gives that idea shape. It's what gives that idea form. And it's what you when you get up in the morning and you don't feel like doing anything, and yet you have this idea that is taking shape, it's what you keep on working on. It allows you to work those sometimes endless hours, and it can be anything. So just keep that in mind. Again, 919-518-9773 if you have anything to talk about that you would like to bring to our show today, an idea you're sitting on, an invention. Wow us. Come on and just wow us. Tell us what you're looking at. Sometimes I turn the TV on, right? And I'm listening to The Voice, and I listen to American Idol or America's Got Talent or the dance shows, and I am in awe of the talent that surrounds us. And you look at these people and you go, and they're just waiting to be discovered. They're waiting and they're like brilliant. And I'm like, oh my God, look at all the talent that we live with. And it just gives me the chills when you see a young kid at age 10 years old, I saw yesterday, singing opera. I'm like, how is she built that way? So we're surrounded by talent, and you've got talent. I know you do. So this may not be America's Got Talent. This may not be any of The Voice or any of those shows, but we still have, you know, opportunity here. So reach out, tell us, give us a call, 919-518-9773. Tell us what you have in mind, goofy or not. Remember, ideas start out weird. They do. So call us, Computers 2K Voice, or come in our chat and communicate with us in there. What are you thinking? Anything? Do you have any new ideas coming up for in here? So don't I say this to you a lot of times? I come into the show on Mondays, and not every Monday, but some Mondays I'll turn around to Tom and I'll say, "So, are you doing anything new in here?" I mean, do you have a new camera? Do you have I mean, what new configuration are you doing? Because he's staying up on it. Now, I don't know one, piece of technology necessarily from another, and but I know Amnon's got his hands and trying to figure things
I
out,
always make changes
and
and
they're
upgrade.
subtle.
Yeah. Yeah, they're subtle and
So what
they're behind
changed?
the scenes and
Okay,
nobody
so
needs to know about them.
okay, does it make the viewing any
It
different?
makes the viewing different. It makes the viewing more stable. It just
So
makes
those
the
things
studio better
work.
and it makes me feel better.
Uh-huh.
That's all.
Yeah, so you keep so that's the thing. There were times and it doesn't happen very much, and I don't know if it has to do with what you're doing or with what Skype is doing or what anybody's doing, right? But when we started this, trailblazing with this channel, there were plenty of times where we would lose somebody.
Yeah. Well, that there's nothing you can
But
do
we
about
don't
it
have that happen. I don't know,
because
it's Skype or it's
yeah,
something, right? Everybody improves when you have something good, you tend to improve it as you go.
right.
So, we don't have people saying I can't, we used to have people saying something about not necessarily the sound, but that they couldn't get with the channels on the bottom, right? They would have to go from sometimes one channel to
Right.
another,
If one channel doesn't work for
but
them
we
in
don't
one
have
part
that.
of the world, we don't
Yeah.
know because people are using it now as a tool. So they know, oh, I can just do
So is
this. It's
that
fine. I
why?
don't
So
need to
people are
say
more
anything.
accustomed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. They're getting more accustomed to what
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Because we used to have people like that would, write in the chat, I can't use this, I can't use that, I don't, can't go I can't get your show, whatever it is. So,
Yeah.
I mean, but it's gonna be tweaked. So my first book, which was In Just One Afternoon, Listening to the Hearts of Men, was the first one. Second one was Twins, Millennials, and now going to be launching the Opioid. I struggled with the formats of those books, but I did not let that stop me. Does it embarrass me? Sometimes. However, I needed to do it so that I could see what it could look like. So I knew what I should do different. And as it turns out, I like the men. The Twins is a great book, but I would have done it a little differently. And I think now that I'm to my fourth, I have it down a little bit. But it took 4 books and a lot of craziness in my chest to realize how I wanted it to be. So you learn as you go. So please, please, please know that with your ideas. You gotta make friends with them. You gotta get familiar with them. You gotta get to know them, they gotta get to know you, and you gotta start working on them like they mean something. And then you begin to tweak along the way. Okay, next one. Your next big idea is just a thought away. Okay, let's say you ain't got one, which I don't believe. But let's say you ain't got no idea what you wanna do next. So sit back, take a chill, have a cup of coffee, sit and watch, the birds fly. You have so many thoughts that pop into your head on a daily basis. I can't even remember how many they say. Thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts that pop into your head on a regular basis. We all do. So instead of discarding them, just listen. Listen to and the one that wants to be heard, let me tell you what, it will knock on you till you listen. So listen. Just listen and don't disregard them. Just listen and they will make themselves known. And let me tell you what, if you don't talk to it and you don't address it, you know how I feel. It's going somewhere else. Okay. Big breakthrough ideas often seem nuts the first time you see them. They do. They seem nuts. They seem crazy. So you just gotta, listen and you kind of tuck it away. And then, maybe next week it comes back again in a little different shape or a little different form or a little different size. They still want to be born and they're coming to you to birth it. So listen to it. I mean, the phone was crazy. The cell phone was crazier. I mean, come on. The light bulb was nuts. A remote control light bulb is nuttier. I mean, the TV, oh my God, the TV was bizarre to see all that going on. Where's it coming from? I still don't know. You looked at the TV, there were wires. Where were the people? Were they coming through those wires? TV was crazy. We used to have this little green Zenith TV in our house, this big, period. And that was all we had. Computers? I mean, oh my God. Laptops? Cell phones? I mean, look at how things have gone. So, real honestly, it all starts off crazy, but somebody's going to do it. So, might as well be you. All right. Hidden talent counts for nothing. When I saw this, gave me the chills. And now that I'm reading, it's giving me the chills again. So what does that mean? Hidden talent counts for nothing. It doesn't matter whether you had the idea. It doesn't matter whether you go like this, you smack your head and you go, that was my idea. I had it first. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's the person who brings it to the marketplace. It's the person who brings it to the eyes of other people. That is a great idea. They don't care that you came up with it first. I mean, maybe you can say, well, I put it out in the universe and then it made it easier for somebody to get. And sure, that's very true. That is very true. But if you've got a talent for something, you have a talent for creating, you have a talent for writing, you have a talent for visual arts, you have a talent for decorating, you have a talent for painting, you have a talent for singing. Oh my God, use it. And it doesn't have to be in the biggest way. It just has to be for you to enjoy it. You know, it's really important. You don't have to make $1 million from it. Just honor your talent. That would be stupendous if you just honor what you know and without shying away from it. I am stopping myself from saying I am not an author. I have to watch myself say that because I have a tendency of poo-pooing the fact that I am writing and my writing can be good. I mean, it's hard for me to acknowledge it. A couple of weeks ago, I went away with some sister-in-laws for a little kinda trip. My sister-in-law had a house up in the mountains, she invited us to come, we didn't have to pay for it, it was great. So, I'm the oldest of them all, and a couple of them were doing some exercise, and I was like, "I could never do what they're doing. How can I do that?" They're going up this driveway into the house was like this and like this. It had such a steep like, it was so steep, and they were going up and down, up and down. I was looking at them, I'm like, "Oh my god, I can never do that." Well, you know what? I did it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm in much better shape than I give myself credit for." And that was huge to me. And now, since that experience, I'm not, like, kind of looking down on what I can accomplish, because I did it, and I was, like, thrilled that I could do it. It's not a talent, but it's important to acknowledge who we are and what we are capable of doing, and we don't need other people's approval. We all have talent, just like we all have ideas, and, I mean, I think it has to do a lot with what you're interested in. Like, I could not do this. What Amnan's got going on here, I couldn't do in a million years, but it's not my interest. I'm thrilled and I'm blessed and I'm grateful for having the opportunity to be able to y use it and enjoy it and share with you all, but I couldn't do it. It's not my talent. It's not where my thing is. My thing, stories, talking to people, clarifying things, helping us get past our misunderstandings so that we can, feel better about each other and ourselves. So that's my talent. My talent lies in stuff like that, and how I use it is one thing. So we all have it. So I am just employing you to take a look and carve yourself out some time to honor it and see where it can go from there. You'll never know until you try. Okay, next one. All right. An idea that is not dangerous is unworthy of being called an idea at all. So you can't play safe. That's the thing. Ideas are scary. I mean, they're gonna do something. They're gonna put you somewhere where you are not comfortable, where you have never been before. You don't know what to expect. You don't know who's there. You know nothing. You don't know anything. You don't know how far you can take it. Nothing. It is scary, 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 scary. But I will tell you that you will you will see little help along the way. That is disguised maybe as something else, but it's help. It's a little helping hand. It's something along the way that helps you progress into doing what you're doing. When I started my books, I had no idea how many people I had in my circle. And I'm not talking about a circle of people that like were my best friends. I mean a network circle. And I could not imagine how many people were in my circle that could be helpful to me in my journey with doing a book, or how many people would appear in my journey of doing my books, and how I would meet those people, and how I would like how that engagement, that relationship started was like it was out of my control. It was just out of it, and I mean, have you ever gone anywhere, not just as somebody had the idea you had and took it or used it because it was then theirs, but how many times have you gone somewhere and whatever you need, exactly what you need, somebody shows up and there they are to help you. Or there they are with something and it's like crazy that they would be there and that they would like almost know exactly what you need when you need it the most. So, and ideas, they are they are they can hurt. They can be painful. They can turn you upside down and inside out. I about pulled my hair out with the men's book. About pulled my hair out. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to begin. I didn't know what to say. So I didn't know how to here's I have a lot of stories. I mean, you don't get to be like my age without a lot of stories. I crack myself up sometimes, really. So, when I started the men's book, I didn't know how to start each of the men's story. I mean, it was their stories, right? But I didn't know what to do, like, how do I put it together? So, I was at Trader Joe's with my husband shopping, and a woman that I know, was in there with her husband. I didn't know her husband. And she introduced him to us, and I introduced my husband to them, blah, blah, blah. And then he walked away, and her husband walked away and came back, and he said, "I hear you're writing a book about men." I said, "I am." He said, "I'd like to be in it." I said, "You would?" I mean, that in itself shocked me that he valued what I was doing enough to even want to be part of it. So I said, "That's great." So we set up some time and all that stuff. Anyway, I don't know when it was, but a day later, a couple of days later, I went, buying, that's a great idea. I'm going to write an introduction to each of the men, telling the story of how I met them. Wouldn't that be interesting to say that here I am in Trader Joe's, and this man I don't know comes over to me and introduces himself, and here's his story, or whatever, whoever it is. So I did it for the men, and it was like a great idea. I mean, it was wonderful. I mean, I would never have come I mean, I don't know if I would have come up with it on my own, but definitely walking into Trader Joe's, there it was. And that's how those ideas happen. But I was pulling my hair out trying to figure out how to do it. And then there the idea was. There the answer was. You're gonna get an answer, my friends. You're gonna get an answer. When an idea is supposed to be, you're gonna get an answer, and it could hurt. These ideas, putting them into fruition, they hurt, I'm telling you. They hurt. How you're gonna pay for it, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna use it for, it hurts. But it works out. Some way, shape, or form, it works out. Okay, next one. It's not about ideas, it's about making ideas happen. And you will have the power to do that. We've talked about it. And you got a million of them. So pick one. Start with one. It could be the smallest one that you think is small, which and obviously it's supposed to be small, which will turn out big. Just whatever it is, pick one. Pick one of your ideas, and it could be anything. It could be how you clean out your drawer. That all of a sudden you go like, "Wow, why didn't I ever do that before?" Pick one. It doesn't have to be these major ideas. It could be, you know, I'm looking here's one that, came to me yesterday. I'm like, duh." So I told you all, right? I'm looking for an agent. So you know what I did? You're not gonna believe what I and this is one of those things that you look at and go, "Why didn't I think about this before?" Well, it wasn't ready. So I said to myself yesterday, "I have all these books from all the people that I've interviewed on this show. I'm gonna go through those books." I cracked myself up because I'm like, I mean, they're sitting there, all these great people who have been on our show before, I mean, that have written books that have are stories about people. I've started going through them, and I'm like, "Why didn't I think about that before I went to Barnes& and Noble?" So that's my new project, and it's a great idea, and, so it's a little idea. It's not like a million, but I'm gonna try it, and I started doing it, and it's very interesting how I did it. Okay, so make your ideas happen. Okay. Escape the ordinary. I mean, just pop out. Pop out and add so much. Do you think that idea about looking in in the acknowledgments of those books was like rocket science? It wasn't. But did it give me a giggle? Oh my God, beyond. You can't even imagine my giggle. So pop out. Just do something a little different. Make yourself a little different breakfast. It doesn't matter. Add ideas to your life and make them happen and see what will occur. Okay, a single idea from the human mind can build cities. An idea can transform the world and rewrite all the rules. Heck yeah. Because who wrote the rules anyway? Somebody with an idea. So rewrite the rules. I mean, rules are meant to be broken. I mean, except of course, there are those that you can't break. But oh my God, We don't have to live by somebody else's rules. Create your own. See what you can do. See what magic you create step by step by step by step. Okay? Okay. Here is here's a quote that I love. There is nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Victor Hugo. There is nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And again, that ideas are an entity. They are coming one way or another. They're either going to be yours or they're going to be somebody else's. They're coming. So play with them, explore with them, see what you can create with them, and just ride the wave of it. And what is the worst that will happen? I mean, what's the worst? I mean, I have done and tried so many things in my life, in my history, in my career, that I look back now and go, whoa. But I wouldn't be where I am without some of those. Now, some of those I could have probably done without, but it got me into doing something. Whether I met a new friend, whether I wouldn't do it again. Sometimes you got to do certain things just to know you don't want to do it. I mean, it just happens that way. But meanwhile, I'm still standing, and I plan on to continue to keep standing and keep taking chances that, are worthy of my power and my ideas and so forth. So, ideas are an idea whose time has come is ready to come. And no matter what, it's coming. So, and then we have our own little personal little ideas, like the one I had yesterday about going through those books. I was like, I really am happy with that idea because maybe the book that I'm looking for and the agent that I'm looking for has been sitting on my own shelf for a little while. And now, wouldn't that just be dandy? And maybe it won't. Maybe I won't find that agent on my shelf. But what I will know is that I'm doing my job and that I'm working at it. And I'm working because my idea is good. And I'll tell you something else, which just hit me. I don't know if ideas are just our ideas. I really don't think that they are just belong to mine just belong to me and yours just belong to you, right? Because they're an entity. They're like a living, breathing organism. So they're not really my idea. It's just coming to me. If I don't do anything with it, they're going away, right? We've already talked about that. So the idea that came to me yesterday about looking in those books, maybe it won't amount to anything. Maybe all it will do is something I can cross off my list and say, "Okay, I'm getting closer to the agent. I'm getting closer to what I need by checking this chunk off my list." Sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes you just got to be able to do it, and then I can sit back and go, "Okay, I'm trying everything. What's left to try?" And then maybe that's when the time is right for what I'm looking for to come into fruition. I can't tell you it all. I just know I am also a work in progress, but I do know enough about what I'm doing to know that these ideas and these big ideas, these big bodacious, juicy things that we have. I consider what I did yesterday with looking in those books a bodacious, juicy idea. It's not you can't quantify it or qualify it. Sometimes you just got to go do it. So 919-518-9773. Are you inspired to call and tell me about something that you might be thinking about or computers 2K voice? Come on. And then also in our chat, you're welcome to come in there and share whatever you want. It's not too late. And then you can always reach out to me personally at Marilyn, Marilyn, at MarilynShannon.com with any of your thoughts or ideas. Okay. So you have my book thing up there now? Okay. So here, I'm so happy to see my new family. So in just one afternoon, listening to the Hearts of Men, stories about beautiful men who are engaging in life have all kinds of stories to share, whether it's about parenting, things they've realized. They are vulnerable. They're telling the stories about parenting, husbandry, being, gay, transgender, bipolar, coming out of prison, making money, all things that men are able to share about their life, not able to share, that they want to share about their life, giving other men permission to be vulnerable, to share, to try new things, to create new things. That's in the men's book. And women have loved it too, because women are getting to understand men more through their vulnerabilities from the book. And in just one afternoon, listening to the Hearts of Twins is phenomenal stories of relationships, sibling rivalry, conflict resolution, great ideas for parenting. And it's amazing what twins, the relationships twins can have with each other. It's awesome. It's awesome. So that, excuse me. And then in just one afternoon, listening to the Hearts of Millennials, millennials are fabulous. They have insight, they have compassion, they are not boring, and they want to make something of themselves and the world around us and them. So you will find some wonderful stories from everyone, from a woman who I interviewed in there who wanted a baby and couldn't have one, and her sister was pregnant with her third and couldn't afford to keep it. So her sister had the baby to term, and then the sister adopted the baby. And, just people doing things that are just outstanding. So you'll see that in there. Then the next one that's going to be published shortly, which I am finishing, is in just one afternoon, listening to the hearts of people impacted by opioid addiction. And it is amazing what uh, people have shared about their journey through addiction. And then family members have shared about their journey with their loved ones or family members or friends that have suffered with addiction. I'm looking for 2 more stories. I've got some great stories, but I'm looking for 2 more. I'm looking for one story that somebody would be willing to share who is currently using, having trouble staying clean. They can be anonymous. It's fine. I don't care. Your name doesn't matter. What matters is your story and sharing, how it feels and what you go through. So other people who have no clue will have an understanding of what it's like. And then, if possible, I am looking for someone who's dealing. And I would be honored if they would also share. Again, they can be anonymous. They don't have to share anything about who they are personally, just their whys and how it happens and the insight, because so we don't judge so much. All of the books are available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. So please go ahead and check them out and let me know what you think. And Amnon, anything from you? Anything else? Okay, everyone. Next week, oh my God, do we have a show for you? So you'll have to show up because we got an amazing guest and it's going to be a hoot. So I will see you all then. Have a fabulous week. I love you all. Take care. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.